Coming up on West Side Stories, we recap the wild winter weather that recently hammered the west side of the state.
And with tax return season in full swing, we explore how the recent government shutdown may have an impact on your wallet.
Plus, while winter weather may cause most of us headaches, there's one business that loves it. We take a look at the ups and downs of one local ski resort. All that and more next on West Side Stories.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications. Inspiring thought, perfecting practice.
Welcome to West Side Stories. I'm Preston Anikuski.
And I'm Mackenzie Sorrell.
Winter storms continue to march through the Midwest, bringing snow, ice, and bitterly cold temperatures.
Winter Storm Lucian didn't bring the same snow and dangerously cold temperatures as late January's Winter Storm Jayden. Still, in the wake of Jayden's snowy aftermath, West Michigan residents are suddenly paying attention to when a winter storm is approaching. So on this week's show, we look back at lessons learned from Michigan's notoriously unpredictable weather.
You may recall that Jayden's heavy snow and below freezing temperatures caused school districts across the state to close, and one West Michigan university closed for the entire week. Reporter McKenna Pariseau brings us more on how West Michigan communities reacted to one of the worst winter storms in recent history.
By early Wednesday, dozens of schools had called snow days for the polar vortex known as Winter Storm Jayden. The weather caused Grand Valley State University to close its campuses for the entire week. That's the first time that's happened in the school's almost 50-year history. Only essential staff had to report. Essential staff like snowplow operators, library support personnel, and technology staff. They are the unsung heroes who keep the place running when everyone else stays home.
You know, we do a lot of work behind the scenes, and we're happy to stay behind the scenes. This morning we started at 4 a.m. We'll be here at least until 3. We run 2, sometimes 3 shifts, but hopefully everybody, whether they realize it or not, appreciates the work that we do in keeping the campus clean and safe and beautiful.
I'll just work with a smile on my face. How's that?
Baker is smiling for the camera, but it's clear her task is anything but fun. Just hours after the sidewalks were cleared, Baker said they were yet again covered in snow.
It's just never ending. We can't keep up. It's frustrating. It's hard.
Even some GVSU students are considered essential staff and had to report to work even though campus was closed. Their job is to support GVSU's technology infrastructure.
The reason why we are essential is because we kind of keep the campus running. If things are down, it kind of ruins everything for students and faculty, especially like VPNs or Blackboard. That's a huge thing. So having the ability to call in, fix issues on the fly rather than waiting till the university's open is essentially what we're here for.
GVSU IT staff are housed in the basement of the Mary Idema Pugh Library on GVSU's Allendale campus. The library was almost deserted, as most students decided wisely to study at home. Still, the library was staffed by essential students and employees who somehow made it to campus, even if they had to put on snowshoes to make it in, like Rose Ganon.
And if all the rest of the campus is closed, I am an inclement weather worker, so I live on campus and I can come in when the weather's really bad. And yeah, they called me in this morning to come work.
Winter Storm Jayden's fury had many Michigan residents comparing it to the 1978 blizzard, which dropped over 16 inches of snow onto the city of Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I've seen the winters of 78 and 79 here, so, oh yeah, I've seen plenty of winters around here. Just more windier, but we had a lot more snow back then, a lot more.
The snow, it's bad right now. It's probably one of the worst that it's been since the 4 years I've been here, so.
The snow also poses a bit of danger for me as a nursing student. I have to drive to my locations. It's not driven on as much as like the city streets, so it's really the best that they can do, and I really appreciate what they are doing because I wouldn't be able to get in today without them working. So
With the mass amount of school closures, adjustments to course schedules are already underway.
I was supposed to have an exam today, so we have to adjust the course schedule to make up for that.
GVSU Provost Maria Simitil addressed some of students' biggest concerns about the snow week. First, GVSU will not extend the semester an extra week. Spring break will not be used to make up class time. Students will not receive a partial refund of tuition dollars. And finally, professors will decide how to adjust class schedules on a case-by-case basis. As the GVSU community returns to campus and coursework, they should remember the unsung heroes of GVSU's essential staff who kept campus running while students enjoyed their snow week. In Allendale, I'm McKenna Paraso.
GVSU's Associate Vice President for Facility Services, Tim Timich, says Snowstorm Jayden caused the worst snow removal conditions in 24 years. He said even though the university boilers were kept at maximum capacity to keep buildings warm, some water pipes froze during the storm and had to be repaired. Timich said he was proud of his staff's around-the-clock commitment to keeping the university safe.
Continuing our coverage of the aftermath of Snowstorm Jayden, we turn now to a favorite question of GVSU students. Who decides whether or not to cancel classes or close the university? Reporter Austin Marsman answers that question, but also gets students and faculty's reaction to the historic storm.
That weather, cities across the Midwest are scrambling to protect people from this deadly polar vortex.
We are still locked in the deep freeze and it is still bitterly cold, and we still have those ongoing lake effect snow showers.
The much talked about polar vortex and winter storm Jayden did not spare Grand Valley State University during the last week in January. The university had canceled classes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday, marking a week-long shutdown of classes and the campus. All in response to a historic winter storm that crippled the area with freezing temperatures and blowing snow. Still, students seemed to enjoy the time off.
I'm not one of those traditional students, I'm actually a veteran, so I have like wife and kids, and what happened was Grand Haven Public Schools were closed down, so me and all the kids had a 6-day vacation with each other.
Driving in the snow was of course awful, but it was really fun. It was nice to relax like that for once. The whole week being canceled, I was actually pretty surprised with.
Students even took to Twitter during the week, looking to prolong their snow day streak, tweeting out messages and being a bit playful.
In fact, a student in one of my classes called me out on Twitter and said, "Didn't you say that there was no way, unless hell froze over, we weren't getting a snow day?" And I said, "Well, I think it froze."
Leno Kelly is a professor at Grand Valley. He, like many others, was put in a difficult place after missing out on a week of classes and material.
So the hard part is, what do you take out? We now have to get, 14 weeks of material done in 13 weeks. And, the question always comes up, what's the thing you can cut out, the thing that's not important? The problem is I've already done that. When I make the syllabus for a class that I teach, I don't want to subject my students to things that are important.
The decision to close the university isn't an easy one, but it falls on the shoulders of a team headed by Vice President for Finance and Administration, Scott Richardson.
So, decision is mine, but like we do everything at Grand Valley, we certainly do a lot of collaboration.
That collaboration is with the GVSU Police Department, county sheriff's offices, the road commissions, facility services, as well as the provost's office. As Richardson explains, it all boils down to safety.
It's really just one thing, and that's safety. Safety of our students, whether they're commuting or living on campus. Safety of our faculty and staff who all commute.
Commuters make up a big part of the GVSU community, so Richardson says that's one thing the university keeps in mind when deciding to cancel class. And that's something other colleges may not have to think about.
We have people driving from an hour in every direction. We have them come from Allegan, from the lake shore, from almost as far as Big Rapids. I knew 2 faculty members who live in East Lansing and drive here to teach. So we really just got to make sure the commute's going to be safe.
Reporting from Allendale, I'm Austin Marsman.
For those of you out there who are tired of snow and ice, I have some good news. Legendary groundhog Puxatawney Phil has predicted an early spring.
The recent partial government shutdown affected more than 400,000 federal workers, many of whom worked without pay, including IRS employees. And that has taxpayers wondering whether they will get their tax return on time. Reporter Alexandria Taylor looks into this and other tax-related questions in this next story.
If you're looking for a timely refund, mailing is not your best option. 5 million pieces of IRS mail went unopened during the government shutdown. And that, coupled with the fact that the tax reform bill introduces many changes to the way people file their taxes, has some people nervous and uncertain.
People might be staying at home, waiting, to get their taxes done, because they're just confused. They don't know if they should start or they should wait.
Skirta says taxpayers should consider filing early, especially if they are concerned about delays. Keisha Lewis of H&R Block agrees.
I would say the majority of our clients are very concerned as far as their tax return being held up.
A delay can be expected, but mostly because the tax reform bill has made changes to thoroughly review the most abused credits. Refunds involving the Earned Income Tax Credit or Additional Child Tax Credit will be held until February 15th, all in place by a new act called Protecting Americans from Tax Hikes, also known as PATH.
It used to be like, yes, my refund will be here in 21 days, and I'm going to pay this, and I'm going to pay that. Well, right now, you can't really speculate like that.
Your quickest options are to e-file directly on the IRS website or through a company that provides electronic software. Another major change has to do with your Schedule A, itemizations.
People, they cannot deduct union fees or tax prep fees or things like that anymore. And they're looking at me like, oh, really? So there are a lot of things that people cannot deduct. They can't itemize anymore this year, and that's a drawback for them.
This is because the new standard deductions have nearly doubled. Itemizations must be more than your deduction of either $12,000 for individuals, $18,000 for heads of households, and $24,000 for married couples filing jointly.
Most people will be able to take the larger standard deduction.
Skirta thinks most people will be better off with taking the standard deduction, but others, those with certain circumstances, may still choose to itemize their deduction to maximize their refund or reduce how much tax they have to pay. Another change to look out for is how exemptions given per dependent have been suspended. Instead, the previously mentioned child tax credit has been doubled to $2,000. It all sounds complicated, but the new tax law is supposed to simplify things.
The best things to know are that e-filing will avoid the massive mail backlog the IRS has been experiencing. Also, itemizations, unlike the personal exemption, have not been eliminated, only harder to obtain. Instead, there have been increases to your standard deduction and child tax credit to help offset these potential losses. Wishing you happy returns in Allendale, Alexandria Taylor.
According to Politico.com, Republicans and Democrats are making good progress in talks to avoid another government shutdown. In the meantime, it might be a good idea to get your taxes done early while IRS staff are still on the job.
It looks like the deadly cold of the polar vortex has left Michigan for now, but it leaves in its wake the fear of another cold wave. Elizabeth Barnes brings us a story on efforts to help those who may struggle to keep warm when the temperature drops below zero.
Students from all over the state, country, and even the world come to study at Grand Valley State University, but many are not prepared for the harsh, cold winters Michigan can have. But one office on campus has started a movement to help keep those students warm.
Another need for students in the winter time is winter coats, that students either don't have the money to buy a new coat or maybe come to campus without a coat. International students sometimes don't know what to expect from the Michigan winter.
The coat drive hosted by the Brooks College Office for Integrative Learning and Advising was inspired by the on-campus food pantry, Replenish, where students who face financial struggles can get food or personal items.
So it's a collaborative project between a few different offices who were aware of the issues with student food insecurity on campus. We know that lots of students are using Replenish, the food pantry, and we're always trying to drive more traffic there, making sure that students who need that resource are aware of it and know how to utilize it.
The Center for Women and Gender Equity run the Replenish Food Pantry. They are also partners in the coat drive. Other partners include the Movement Science Department and the Brooks College Dean's Office.
Specifically, the movement science folks have been really involved in gathering coats, bringing them here to our office because we have enough space to store them and distribute them, and then helping make students aware of the resource that's available.
The unpredictable cold weather hit hard with a polar vortex in the Midwest the last week of January. So the coat drive came in handy for the students who needed it.
Just before the unexpected polar vortex break, we sent out a lot of promo info to different student groups on campus, letting folks know that we had enough coats to distribute. And so we've given away about 25 so far.
James Lynn said the coat drive has been so successful that they would like to make the coat drive an annual thing.
And then we'll put whatever coats we have left into storage so that we can restart in the fall as the weather gets cold. It's a perpetual need for students on campus. And again, as new international students come in next year, that need rises again.
Donation boxes for the coat drive can be found all over campus, in the library, Mackinac Hall, Kinchy Hall of Science, the Rec Center, Lake Michigan Hall, and the South D apartments.
They're big. They have signs on them that say "Donate Like a Laker" with our brochure on it. So yeah, you can find them in a lot of different spots on campus.
Jameson continues to say they don't have the storage on the downtown campus to continue the drive there. But students who are in need of a coat downtown can contact the downtown Replenish location to make a request to get a few coats shipped there.
We're always open 8 to 4, and you don't have to make an appointment. You just have to stop in and say that you need a coat, and we're happy to hand them out.
In Allendale, I'm Elizabeth Barnes.
The Brooks College Office for Integrative Learning and Advising will continue to collect and distribute coats all winter, so no Grand Valley student has to worry about being underprepared for the Michigan cold.
We've got some fun events coming up this week. Let's take a look at our weekly calendar. So far in this week's show, we've talked about the challenges that a polar vortex and big winter storm can bring to those who live and work in West Michigan. But there is one business that loves the snow: ski resorts. Believe it or not, before Winter Storm Jayden, Cannonsburg ski area had to make snow. Reporter Isabel Connon gives us a unique look into the ups and downs of the ski business.
Cannonsburg ski area was bustling with activity this past week after Michigan residents experienced what could be considered the snowstorm of the century. But as all of us who live in Michigan know, you can't always count on the weather. When it comes to skiing, sometimes there's snow, sometimes there's not.
So people look out in their yard and they don't see snow in their yard, so they think we don't have it here.
Laura Hornick is a business office worker at Cannonsburg, and she says that the lack of snow earlier in the year caused problems, but not in the way you might think.
Well, the biggest problem with the lack of snow is that most people don't realize that we do make snow here. So a few years ago, we invested in some state-of-the-art snowmaking equipment, so we have them set up all over the hill. So we've been making snow since really it got cold. Once it's below 30 degrees, we start blowing.
These state-of-the-art snow machines have been a big investment for Cannonsburg. The snow machines shoot out tiny droplets of water, and then the water slowly falls through the air, creating a snowflake. However, Ben Langfer of the Catholic Central High School ski team says that the man-made snow isn't always the best.
Normally it'll get icy quicker and they have to push it down more, and it takes a lot more time to fix it, and then ruts form a lot more often. And then of course when it snows, then with their man-made snow it gets too fluffy and it gets kind of sticky snow.
The polar vortex brought in plenty of snow, and because it was very, very cold, the snow was powder. And fresh powder is usually preferred by skiers and snowboarders.
Cold we've had, we actually get really dry snow, so it really you get good edge hold, turns really nice, and when you fall it's really soft too. So it's kind of packed powder conditions, so really, really good days to be out skiing, even if you skied for a long time or just learning. So.
Cannonsburg ski area got about 2 feet of powder, and that was great news for skiers right after Winter Storm Jayden. But then we had a thaw, so Cannonsburg was back to making snow. It's anybody's guess if we'll get more snow, but if we do get more fresh powder, I met one professional snowboarder that will be the first to take advantage of it.
Rumors. Okay, powder, you know, you're talking to a guy who's ridden 165 days a year and hit mountainsides of powder. Cannonsburg, they have fresh snow, okay? You have to go in the trees or out of bounds where you're not supposed to go to catch a pow slash, okay? Shred the gnar. But you can catch a really nice groomer and have loads of control. Yeah, you can go really fast and have fun. It's nice and soft. You can keep an edge. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Even if you are not a professional snowboarder, it's likely that there is still time this winter to shred the gnar, or just have fun on the slopes. In the forecast right now, it looks like snow for the next week, but this is Michigan, and that could change.
I'm Isabel Condon reporting from Cannonsburg.
Winter Storm Jayden may have done Cannonsburg ski area a favor by dropping 2 feet of snow on the hill, but fluctuating temperatures have forced the popular resort to resume production of artificial snow. Right now they are reporting a snow base of 24 inches, but don't expect to find any fresh powder. So we were talking a little bit about this sort of when the cameras are off, but you haven't gone skiing before, right?
I've never gone skiing in my whole life before.
I think this is a good time to start. I've gone skiing once, and it was probably one of the worst things I've ever done in my life.
I'll have to check it out.
Impossibly hard, so good luck to you.
Van Andel Arena was heating up before the polar vortex when the Harlem Globetrotters came to town on January 27th. Reporters Savannah Bressman and Eli Ong were there and filed this report.
The Harlem Globetrotters are an organization that performs exhibition basketball games. These games consist of theatrical and athletic performances. The Globetrotters have been around for almost 90 years. However, they were not always a fun exhibition team. The team was, at times, part of social movements and civil rights efforts. The Globetrotters say the team showed the world that African Americans were able to athletically excel on a professional level. The Globetrotters since then have transitioned into a more family-friendly entertainment. Corey Law, otherwise known as Thunder, has been a part of the team for almost 6 years.
This is my sixth world tour.
The Globetrotters combine multiple different skills into a performance. The athletes will do all sorts of crazy dunks when they play. The Globetrotters say they try to make the game more of a family-friendly spectacle rather than just a regular old basketball game. Off the court, different Globetrotters are constantly trying to break world records or perform insane trick shots. Thunder says that he has 5 world records of his own.
I've had the opportunity to set 5 Guinness World Records. World's longest under the leg shot, world's longest blindfolded shot, world's longest backward shot. I actually set 7, but 2 of them got broken.
Hearing how Thunder got involved may shock you. In college, Thunder played for High Point University out of North Carolina. He was drafted. Yes, you heard that right. Drafted by the Globetrotters in 2013.
I was one of the lucky ones that was actually drafted. That's right, the Globetrotters have an annual draft. I was drafted in the 7th annual draft in 2013.
The Globetrotters annual draft started in 2007. The draft is like most athletic drafts. Thunder says that players are scouted and then announced in June. The past couple years, the draft has been held via social media. Thunder says that since his draft, his life has changed in many ways.
Oh, it's changed my life because, you know, as a kid, I never even left my state. And now, last year alone, I went to over 25 countries. So that aspect alone is just really eye-opening.
The Globetrotters perform community service all over the world whenever they travel. Thunder says that doing the service is the most rewarding part of the job.
Just being able to do so much community service around the world is one of my favorite things, actually, of being a Globetrotter.
The Globetrotters say they work off the court to involve the community, but they also work to incorporate the crowd as much as they can when on the court. They will stop the game to grab members of the audience to either teach them a new skill, play some sort of game, or even make them have a dance-off. The Globetrotters say they have performed in 123 countries and territories worldwide. Thunder says that his favorite part about traveling is the sense of community, no matter where he's at in the world.
Crazy, you know, like it's really unique overseas because no matter where we are overseas, whether we're in Spain or Germany, they don't speak the same language as us, but they come to our show and they understand everything. And, you know, a smile is all we need to see sometimes just to know you're having a great time. So,
for anyone who loves to travel and be active, this may seem like a dream job. But according to Thunder, this job can be pretty tough at times.
Like all of us, you know, like all of us, we have family and things back home, but it's very tough. You know, luckily, you know, we have FaceTime now where we're able to see our loved ones. But it gets tough, especially around the holidays. But, you know, we have to wake up and leave our families Christmas morning. But, you know, we're somebody's Christmas present, so it works out, you know.
Thunder might not be able to see his family all the time and may lose out on some important holidays, but he says that the work is worth it. Reporting in Grand Rapids, I'm Savannah Bressman.
If you would like to catch one of their world-famous exhibition games, the Harlem Globetrotters will return to the greater Grand Rapids area in early March. Cities included on their tour are Big Rapids, East Lansing, Saginaw, Petoskey, and Detroit. Tickets are available on their website at harlemglobetrotters.com/tickets.
And that is all the time we have for today. I'm Preston Dunikuski.
And I'm Mackenzie Sorrell. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.